But I have the programming of Christianity. I grew up Catholic, but was never really like forced into me. So I feel like a freedom and a kind of a like decent relationship with the whole thing. And I'm all about the teachings of Jesus, all about the teachings of Master Yeshua. So the word is very important and empowering using, because the word Jesus has a lot of programming and conditioning around it. And so when we're only using that word, we can get stuck over in a limited way of thinking as defined by those syllables, which is Jesus. Master Yeshua is his given name in the pronunciation of who he would have been as a person, as a divine embodiment of Christ consciousness. So I refer to him more and more as Yeshua. And one of the primary teachings, I am not a biblical person. I'm not a biblical scholar. I've often had conversations with people who were, and I've been told that some of what I say is mimicking the messages of the Bible, the positive ones. And so that is important to know. Like, the Bible's not trash, but it's not my book. I did not just call the Bible trash. I said it's not trash. It is a very specific timeline, vibration of controlling the narrative. Whether or not it was created in positivity or negativity is always going to be up for debate, but the point is its evolution led to love. And then the primary words that I will always say are, very truly I say to you, everything that I have done, you will do that and more. And so we need to start following the religion. So people have put Jesus, Master Yeshua, so high up on a pedestal that they are worshiping the image of the embodied, divine embodied human. And the teachings of Christ was always to bring that divinity down to earth in an embodied sense. And this whole idea of sacrificing wisdom and love so that we are automatically admonished of any wrongdoing is a cyclical teaching that keeps us away from our divinity, because it keeps us away from self-awareness and the concept of cause and effect. And so there is no judgment, there is cause and effect, high vibration and low vibrations. So when we act in a low vibrational way, we will create low vibrational experiences, and vice versa with high vibrational experiences and vibrating in a high vibration. Now, Yeshua was very ahead of his time. He was vibrating very, very high in a relatively low vibrating environment. And this brings me back to one of the first pages of Eckhart Tolle's books, Awakening to Your Life Purpose, where he speaks of Master Yeshua and Buddha as the first flowers that would have blossomed in a field. And if someone was around to witness, they would notice that the flower would probably blossom and die right away, because the atmospheric conditions that would create the conditions for the first flower to blossom on earth wouldn't have been ripe yet. And so Master Yeshua and Buddha are these early teachers of this wisdom. And so the whole idea of reincarnation and coming back is that these energies are recycling back on earth. And for once, now, finally, oh my gosh, it's so exciting, we are going to awaken to a more multidimensional view of God. So if this mic were God, and this is a religion and this is a religion, and we're all just seeing one perspective, we're all going to be invited to ascend to a higher dimension, to have a bird's eye view of all the religions. And sometimes you're going to spend over here trying to understand this religion and then this one, and getting all this information about God and the misuse and the benefits. And for me, it's all coming back to evolving to the next version of what a unified God might be. This is where I'm using these words like Most High and Creator, because who created the religions? So if we pull up the view, and what we really want to do is kind of strip the gender a little bit. But for me at this point, this is kind of this Sophia energy. It's very feminine, right? In the darkness of the nothingness is the womb, is the feminine. Same with our bodies. Everything is created in its image. And so it comes through the portal of darkness, through the woman, into life. That doesn't mean there isn't also something above this Sophia, like even more God, even more Most High, that we cannot comprehend because we're still down here in the third dimension. I'm doing my best to transmit from the fifth dimension, and we're talking about the infinite. And so I'm reaching higher, I'm reaching up to higher vibrations, but what I'm imagining right now is a spiral. A spiral is such a powerful imagery for all of the work that I do with the Cosmic Rose Cosmology. The rotation of energy, right now it's bigger. In the third dimension, there's so much duality between the front of the spiral and the back and the right and the left of the spiral. And as we raise the vibration, it gets closer and closer. This means judgments are less, less lower vibrational. And then, we're up in the fifth dimension, and we can really we're able to not really tap into much negativity at all. And I don't live there yet. Soon. So we're here. It's an embodied process. It can only happen when it happens. That's the incredible thing about it. My understanding is that time is a construct, and the more we try to be in a time aligned with more patriarchal energies, where we're going requires a whole new concept of time, where some things might appear to take longer than they quote unquote should, but then we can have these quantum leaps. There's much more of this feeling of getting our ducks in a row and preparing so that we're not in this constant hustle, go, but we're gracefully preparing ourselves to be at the place where we can just like Mario Brothers and boop, jump to the next level. So when we do this, we're inviting ourselves to embody the spirituality by moving beyond our current concepts of Jesus, Master Yeshua, and Christ consciousness. And my invitation to you is to hold what you consider sacred close to you, or set it aside for a bit. Either one, it doesn't matter. The invitation is to invite in some feminine energy, right? Some softer, some new thoughts, some new concepts, some new visions of the Creator, of what the Most High can be and what that can mean for you, who you can be when you are calling in something even greater and more encompassing of creation than what you've currently been calling.